Welcome to the Celtics Roundtable powered by CLNS Media. I'm Jonathan Levy. I am joined by the brothers Ignal, Matthew and Jonathan, and capologist Sam Sheehan. Guys, it's yet another day of huge breaking news with the Celtics. Avery Bradley, once a Celtic, the longest tenured Celtic, now gone to Detroit. He's shipping to Detroit? Yes, to the Pistons for Marcus Morris and a 2019-2. And sadly, that 2019-2, not coming to us, it's going to them. But what are you going to do? I mean, does anyone care about a second-round pick anymore? We're going to find out. Guys, this is kind of big news. Avery Bradley's been around for, I think, 7 years at this point. He is considered by many to be the best or second best perimeter defender in the league. He's improved every year. He was the leading rebounder on the Celtics for most of the season last year. Now he's a Piston. Let's start with Matthew Ignal. What's your reaction to this move?
You know, I named my dog Avery Bradley, and I love her to death. And it's sad to see Avery Bradley go. I think this is the move that most of us wanted. Avery Bradley's with his unrestricted free agency coming up in a year, and just the need to clear space. Moving Crowder and taking a loss on that didn't make much sense. Smart's a restricted free agent, and you can make the case that his next contract's going to be a lot better than Avery Bradley's. So this is the move I wanted. Still, I feel like I'm ready to cry. I'm going to miss Avery Bradley.
Yeah, I mean, Avery Bradley, I've said on this and multiple other places, that I thought this was the right move. And I've been getting a lot of tweets congratulations. I don't want congratulations because I don't want, just because something was the best move doesn't mean I'm not going to miss Avery Bradley. He was the longest tenured Celtic. He was the last part back to the old KG Paul Pierce days. And he was just a great guy and a really excellent Celtic. Losing that guy, especially having to pay Detroit to take him in order to get back a Morris brother, I mean that really hurts. Celtics, you can't really complain too much when the Celtics are getting Gordon Hayward, but it's still a bummer. And I think I kind of speak for everyone in Celtics Nation. We're all hoping that things work out well for Avery Bradley. I'm just glad they didn't send him somewhere truly miserable like Orlando or Brooklyn or something like that, because that would have been too much.
It's been a rough 15 hours. I mean, it felt like just a couple hours ago we were pouring one out for Kelly Olynyk. Now we got to do it for Avery Bradley. When I have a rough day at work, I usually get some Chick-fil-A. That makes me feel a little better. Today is a Chick-fil-A day for Avery Bradley. Markelle Fultz, there are Chick-fil-A's in Boston, so I don't know what he was talking about, but Avery Bradley, I watched the Dwayne Wade block this morning. It brought back all the feels. Matt, you did name your dog Avery, and there's no other names you could go with because it is a female dog, and Kelly is now gone as well. So I'm not really sure what you can change your dog's name to. It's bittersweet. I mean, they couldn't keep Avery. This gives more time for Jalen, Jason, and Marcus, and even Terry. So, I mean, it had to be done. It just sucks. I'm not too excited on the return. I'm not a big Morris guy to begin with. And we got the worst Morris and had to give up a second-round pick as well. But, it's a new Brad Stevens reclamation project, possibly.
I mean, the good news is if the Morris brothers decide they don't like where they're playing, they can just switch and no one will know, except our Morris will be a better rebounder now. He'll improve at rebounding, which will be great. While I agree with you guys that, we've seen Avery Bradley completely develop, much the way the Jazz saw Gordon Hayward develop, really, from a raw piece of something to a really fully formed NBA player. This is just the natural order of things, we got a lot of young guys, a lot of them play guard. Jalen can play the two. Hayward could play the big two even. Avery Bradley was always going. Sam brought this up when we first started, when I think his first time ever on the show months ago now, he brought up Avery Bradley was the guy who was most likely to get traded. It happened today. It wasn't ultimately a big surprise. By the way, there are other ripple effects of this. The Pistons have now renounced Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I assume the Brooklyn Nets are going to offer a max offer sheet to him. And
Sixers too, I think.
Sixers. Oh, there you go. There's a good chance, though. This could actually end up hurting the Celtics a little bit with their Brooklyn pick. I mean, right. I don't know how much, really, but a little bit anyway. But ultimately, why did the Celtics do this? Sam Sheehan, what do you say?
I mean, well, it just kind of ties back to the fact that the Celtics had to clear the necessary cap room. They're still not quite there with the Abasali's cap hold, but it's pretty easy to get there. They're just going to need to renounce Jordan Mickey at this point, who's probably about as good as gone.
No.
Yeah. Sorry to Jordan Mickey hype train had to come to an end at some point. Weirdly, so I guess the next step going forward for the Celtics at this point is going to be they're going to have 12 guys on the roster once they add Daniel Tejas. Am I saying that right?
Nice.
Tejas? Yeah, I'll get there eventually. He's probably going to be signing a minimum. The Celtics are going to have the full room mid-level exception, which is about $4.3 million to offer to someone. You're hearing Dwayne Dedmon's name thrown around a lot, so I'm just trying to get some, rebounding and shot blocking, someone who can munch the glass, because the Celtics the rebounding is something that projects to be quite the problem going forward. And then, they're probably going to have one last roster spot that for, a real NBA roster spot that'll probably end up going to either Ojale or Nader. Maybe if there's another really good guy, he'll come up, but then they'll have those two-way contracts to fill. But we're getting to the end of the Celtics offseason now. Things kind of fall into place a little bit more. The Celtics won't have like four. They don't have to call their young guys. They can kind of keep Yabusele. They don't have to stash him. So the big depth will not be quite as destroyed as it might be. But, with the way Zizic has been playing in the Summer League, kind of reminds people what to expect of rookies, especially big young rookies. And I wouldn't expect much more from Yabusele, to be honest. So the Celtics still in desperate need of workable big depth, because if they renounce Jordan Mickey, the only big on the roster that's going to have just a year of NBA experience under their belt is going to be Al Horford, and that's pretty scary.
So I imagine my best guess is that Jaylen Brown is going to start at the 2 this year, and that they're going to roll out Gordon Hayward at the 3, and if Jay Crowder is amenable to it, and why wouldn't he be? He'd still be a starter. Have him start at the 4. And I don't know if I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen. We had Alex Cohn, he tweeted out that he doesn't think that Brad Stevens is actually going to fully commit to starting the game small. So I don't know. That's probably what I would do. We have reporting here from Adam Himmelsbach that the Celtics are not looking to move Crowder, and they really want to explore his positional versatility. So that's a big win for the Celtics. Jay Crowder, believe it or not, is a legitimate two-way player. You want to talk a little bit about Marcus Morris?
I guess we have to.
So there isn't. He's on a 2-year. He's got 2 more years left on his deal, $5 million and then $5.4 million. There isn't that much evidence to suggest that he's a good player. His best year was in 2016, and he was sort of like marginally good. He posted slightly negative offensive BPM and defensive BPM last year. He's got some positional versatility, who could play the 3 and the 4, and with the Celtics giving up a second-round pick, this seems more closer towards like the salary dump sort of move than recouping equal value for Avery Bradley.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a great asset on the court. Probably not the highest character guy off the court. I mean, he looks like a good player, a pretty good player in that he resembles his brother, Markieff Morris. But I think that's about it. I mean, one held the guy down.
He had one good year.
One held the guy down, the other curb stomped him and kicked him in the face. I'm not sure which Morris brother executed which one.
All right,
which one was like mostly there for beating the shit out of the guy?
How long?
No one knows. No one knows.
Contract for
2 years.
2 years. That's the big thing, is that they get that $5 million in that second year, which is going to be key.
It's better than like the classic. You're not going to pay the guy, but you keep him on the roster and he walks for nothing. At least you're getting something, and he's on a good contract. I mean, there's a lot of dumb GMs and teams out there that someone could be. I mean, he'll probably do better in a Celtics uniform under Brad than he did under Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah, and Andre Drummond was gobbling up all those rebounds too. So maybe his poor rebounding statistics are a little deflated. Yeah, he had 10.3% rebounding percentage his last year in Phoenix, which dropped to a little under 8 in Detroit. So I don't know. There's a theory.
He's friends with Isaiah.
Marcus Morris on 2 years for 10 over the next 2 years. Someone's going to want that down the road and give up something for it. So I'm feeling by February, he's probably not going to be on this team.
If the Celtics need to make an improvement, they can now add salary in trades. So if they wanted to turn, now that Hayward's going to be signed, they're going to handle all of the signings and all the offseason business. they'll be able to flip Morris for something and add salary in that way. So you might be able to get some of these players who maybe make a little bit more money. Now, do you want to do that with the tax coming down the pipe? I mean, I think right now my own projections, I got the Celtics already at about $3 million over the tax, and that's only with Isaiah Thomas's $9 million cap hold, which you'll probably receive quite a bit more than $9 million. So the tax is coming, Game of Thrones style. But, will the Celtics pull the trigger on some sort of mid-season improvement if things aren't bad? You've now got like a little bit of salary flexibility that you might not have had if you were, just trading Avery into cap space to get a TPE or something like that, which you would have had to renounce to resign Gordon Hayward anyway. So, his salary will be workable. If he can return to shooting, I think he shot something like 33% from three last year, which is not great, but he shot 36% or something like that in the past. And, in Detroit, he would also play some minutes in three, which he will not be expected to do at all. He will be a straight four here in Boston. And that will, I think that might be able to help him out a little bit, especially with the space and stuff. I'm just excited that we get Marcus Smart and a Morris on the same team. Anytime there's a bench scrum, I'm going to be terrified, but it'll be exciting. And, we'll see what happens with those sorts of things. He gives them some much-needed salary fodder to sort of move around if they do decide to use picks to upgrade that spot later on in the season, maybe around the trade deadline.
Guys, I'm just glad it's not Dante Exum. I never understood that. You already have Marcus Smart on the roster. You're going to bring in an unproven 21-year-old fourth-year summer league guy who has an injury history.
That's MVP of the Utah Summer League you're talking about.
I watched his games. I mean, I saw him miss layups, get stripped a couple times. I didn't see
the best
much.
Player there.
That's some stiff competition.
Guys, someone who never has stiff competition? That's the boys at HelloFresh. That's right, because each week they create delicious new recipes with step-by-step instructions designed to take around 30 minutes so that everyone from novices to seasoned home cooks short on time can make tasty meals. HelloFresh sources the freshest ingredients, measured to the exact quantities needed so there's no food waste, and employ not one, not four, but 2 full-time registered dietitians on staff who review each recipe to ensure it is nutritionally balanced. They deliver food to your doorstep in a recyclable, insulated box for free. I think they also make your bed and clean your toilet because it's incredible. That's too much stuff. And they are now offering light spring meals and have just introduced breakfast options. Loyal viewers of this program now get a special offer. Use the promo code BEAT30 for $30 off your first week of HelloFresh. Support the Celtics Roundtable and try HelloFresh for free. Simply visit HelloFresh.com and enter the promo code BEAT30. Back to the Roundtable. Okay, guys.
Hell of a segue.
Thank
Hell
you.
of a segue.
I work hard at that. I'll tell you what. It's always in the head there. I'm always trying. So we know that Crowder's staying. It seems like there's not much left to do for the Celtics. I'm already hearing whispers. It may have been our own Sam Sheehan who was saying this. Are the Celtics just going to extend Marcus Smart right now? Are they just going to lock him up? Is that the next move?
It would seem to make it would definitely make a lot of sense for the Celtics. It would depend on whether or not Marcus Smart and his agent think that makes sense for them. I think there's reason to believe we just saw a really chilly restricted free agency for everyone who wasn't Otto Porter. We're seeing a return to normalcy in the salary cap. I feel like I say that every episode. I'm sorry if you guys are getting sick of it, but really, I can't stress enough how much the cap is leveling out and how much the financials and the contracts are going to change going forward in this next year and beyond. We're really going to see the Celtics, in particular. We're almost definitely going to see them in the tax next year. We're almost definitely going to see a lot of teams in the tax next year. So, it might be smart if Marcus Smart and his agent, if they look out at the landscape, see the writing on the wall, understand that in restricted free agency, they might not stand to get much in the way of offer sheets. They don't stand to lose much. They might lose a little bit of leverage, kind of going into it, like maybe Avery Bradley sort of did a couple of years ago when he was signed to the contract he was on just now, that $8 million a year contract. We'll see going forward what's going to happen with the Boston Celtics.
I'd be so down for extending Marcus Smart. Yeah, to me, this signals that the Celtics, might want to commit to him. I think that Yeah, as Sheehan said, if Marcus Smart, for example, were to make a shooting leap this year, then you could kiss him goodbye. Then the Celtics, probably couldn't afford to pay him because then he's, would make something like $20 million. But if you can get him on, $13-15 million a year, something around that, and then he makes that shooting leap, then you're getting a ton of surplus value for Marcus Smart over the next few years.
Well, and let's not forget that, Marcus Smart is now the longest tenured Celtic with the departure of Avery Bradley. So,
Wow.
it's kind of hard to believe that we've had an entire full roster turnover since that 13-14 season. But here we are. And, Marcus Smart was the longest now.
The culture.
Look at him. He is the captain now.
What a reference. Oh my
Probably
gosh.
not, but in my fantasy, maybe. Well, I would love to see Marcus Smart become team captain and kind of get locked in as the guy who was the Celtics' only low draft pick. The Celtics had one low draft pick in the Danny Ainge rebuild. By low, I mean high draft pick, and that ended up being Marcus Smart. So I would love to see Marcus come in here and be the fifth, sixth man glue guy who ties together a Celtics squad that has championship aspirations.
He's sort of the ultimate Danny Ainge / Brad Stevens player, I think. He's got a lot of versatility. He is an absolute bulldog defensively. He makes plays almost every game that I've never seen happen in a basketball court, which is really weird. But it seems like he does the Cobra. He's got it all going on and wins. And the advanced stats back him up, even though he can't shoot worth a damn lick. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Celtics Roundtable. Will there be more breaking news tomorrow or even later today? I don't know, but if there is, we will be there, most likely. If you enjoyed this show, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, give us a like. If you're listening to us in podcast form, head on over to iTunes. Give us a 5-star review if you are so inclined. We're at CLNS Roundtable when you're talking about Twitter, so you can get in touch with us there. And we will see you next time on the Roundtable.
I'll do what I call the every other pundit thing. I'll just do the Simmons and just go with shit.
Yes.
My dad hates Jay Crowder. I watched Jay Crowder. He only shot 39% from 3. That's not good, House. Not good.
We got some smart minds.
All right, let me see. How do extensions work?
This offseason we're doing Wahlberg versus Wahlberg.
Dueling
Yes.
Wahlbergs. I don't know. My brother Donnie says you got to trade the picks. Got to trade the picks for Jimmy Butler.
I think we really scored the pooch. I'm telling you. No Jimmy Butler.
What? We gotta cut this Nader guy. If you see my movie Patriots Day, you know Muslims can't be on the team.
I can't believe the police. They came into our city. The Transformers. I'm going to talk to Optimus Prime. We're going to get these guys out of here.